Hello, welcome to 5 Pillars of Aging. I'm Dr. Mary Flett, and this is a 5 Pillars of Aging mini course on staying engaged over your lifespan. In this mini course, we'll look at staying engaged physically, emotionally, cognitively, and socially. What does engaged mean? Engagement means anything that lights up your mind and body. It's connection, whether in person or virtual. It is a sense of belonging and being plugged into your community, including networks of enjoyment and support. Physical engagement includes flexibility, strength, stamina, and mobility. Levels and capacity for physical engagement will change over your lifespan. Keeping fit is both a habit and a goal that you can start and continue no matter what your age. Whether you run marathons or just shake your booty, you can stay physically engaged. Emotional engagement is all about being in touch with your feelings. Emotions span a full range of intensity and experience, and sometimes they can be uncomfortable. While it's true that many aging adults experience depression and anxiety, these are not an expected part of aging. Being curious about your feelings and being ready, willing, and able to express them are hallmarks of aging better and aging well. Cognitive engagement is about keeping your brain curious, flexible, and healthy. Strategies for doing this include trying new things, doing old things new ways, and making sure you eat well, exercise, and sleep well. Dementia is a very real elephant in the room, and while there is currently no way to prevent it, there are new and improved ways of providing quality care and support if you or a loved one is diagnosed. Social engagement means the level of participation you have in your community, including being plugged into networks of enjoyment and support. Levels of social engagement differ depending on whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. It's more about the quality of connection than the frequency or type. We're social beings, and while loneliness can be an issue for some aging adults, it is not the inevitable result of aging. Let's test your knowledge. You probably are already familiar with many of the strategies and best practices in each of these areas, but things are changing all the time. You might want to take out a piece of paper and jot down your answers. When you're ready, just hit enter or click your mouse, or just wait for the slide to change. First question, what types of exercise are essential for aging adults? Endurance, strength, balance, flexibility? Write down all that apply. Answer, all. According to the National Institutes of Health, each of these areas supports optimal aging. No matter what your age or stage of fitness, doing something that involves endurance, strength, balance, and flexibility 2 or 3 times a week can and will improve your quality of life. Well done! You're an exercise pro. Section 2, emotional engagement. What do psychologists consider to be the core or basic emotions? Fear, anger, joy, sadness, disgust, boredom, resentment, ecstasy, bitterness, denial, contempt, surprise, shame, shyness, guilt. While there is disagreement among some theorists, these 10 are found universally, regardless of culture. Fear, anger, joy, sadness, and disgust, as well as contempt, surprise, shame, shyness, and guilt. Well done. You're a feelings whiz. Now let's test the parts of the brain. Do you know your brain map? Each of these brain areas has its own name and function. Can you correctly identify each lobe? To see the answer, hit Enter or click your mouse. Right, this is the frontal lobe. This is the parietal lobe. This is the temporal lobe. This is the occipital lobe. This is your brainstem. And this is the cerebellum. While your whole brain operates as a single entity, each lobe specializes in certain functions. Hit Enter or click your mouse to find out which lobe does what. The cerebellum is in charge of balance and coordination. It's easy to remember cerebellum. Think of a ballet dancer whose name is Sarah Bellum. Your temporal lobe is just over your ears. It's where hearing, learning, and feeling are specialized. Your parietal lobe, just above the temporal lobe, manages language, taste, touch, and smell, sensory experiences. The brainstem is in charge of breathing, heart rate, and body temperature. It is true that you have eyes in the back of your head. That's where the occipital lobe is located, and that's where your vision center is. Finally, your frontal lobe manages thinking, memory, behavior, and movement. Interestingly, of all the different parts of the brain, in terms of evolution, the frontal lobe was the last to develop. Well done. Most impressive. Now let's answer some questions about social engagement. True or false? All old people are lonely. Hardly. This is ageism at its worst, projecting an image of aging as being lonely and sad. True or false? Everybody benefits from being in a group. False. For many introverts, being in groups is actually quite stressful. Size matters. True or false? All old people are tech challenged. While it's true that technology has its challenges, according to Pew researchers, most Americans over 65 are tech savvy and have found ways to use technology to their advantage. True or false? More than 50% of Americans over 65 own a cell phone. True. According to Pew researchers, 98% of older Americans own a cell phone and over 65% use smartphones. True or false? Isolation negatively impacts brain functioning. This is true. Humans are social creatures, and we benefit directly and indirectly from being around others. True or false? Facebook has the largest share of users over the age of 65. Absolutely factual. How'd you do? Well done. Many of you may be concerned with your memory. Memory is just one aspect of cognitive functioning, the others being attention, recognition, planning, recall, and distractibility. Memory is complicated and how well yours works is impacted by sleep, medications, food, libations, stress, mood, and disease, to name a few. If you are concerned about your memory, it pays to consult with me. I can evaluate just how well your brain is functioning and give you helpful feedback, including a plan for how to move forward. Here's when to make that call. Are you more easily distracted and forgetful? Do you have difficulty paying attention and completing tasks? Do you have trouble naming familiar items or recalling people's names? Can you still do simple math in your head? For more information on what I can do for you, check out my website, drmaryflett.com, or call me at 707-938-5531, and let's chat. Putting it all into practice. Best practices for staying physically engaged include keep moving, keep your muscles strong, stay flexible, and increase your endurance. Best practices for staying emotionally engaged include increase your empathy, be grateful, feel all your emotions, and get support if you need it. Best practices for staying cognitively engaged include trying new things, doing old things new ways, exercise, 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 staying hydrated, getting enough quality sleep, and lowering stress. Best practices for staying socially engaged include knowing yourself, connecting with others and your community. Practice receiving as well as giving, and share your wisdom. If you found this interesting, check out the full course, Staying Engaged Over Your Lifespan, on our website, 5pillarsofaging.com. There you will also find information on all of our self-paced learning modules and virtual 5 Pillars of Aging groups. Thank you.